Yeah, we're going to start from this screen because I hope that we were able to get some non-crypto people here because yeah, that's kind of the one of the main points of MetaGame. So we're starting all the way with Bitcoin, which was the first decentralized currency, because yeah, there was no admins that could just mint new tokens. Nobody can take your coins away from you, and yeah, that's how it became the first decentralized currency. And then we had Ethereum, which is that plus it's programmable, so it allows a lot more things to be possible, not just a way to send the currency one way or the other, but also yeah, create any sort of decentralized application or organization these days. So what's different from this than what we had previously? Centralized servers, they were much easier to get exploited. Like once you hack a centralized server, you get access to all the accounts, and this way everybody has their own account and nobody can just hack like the whole thing. And of course the the main point from before is that there is still no administrator that can just come in and take your account. And then the other big problem was that databases don't really talk to each other easily. And so what ended up happening with the growth of the internet and the commerce on the internet is that we ended up with these huge centralized middlemen like PayPal and Visa, MasterCard, and whatnot. They were here as they need to be the middle point between the databases of the banks and all the point of sale devices and whatnot, so that people are able to transact each other. Because yeah, the centralized solution was the only way so far. And now with Ethereum, we have a globally accessible, decentralized, and ownerless database, and that allows us to basically rebuild the society by building new decentralized, like everything in a decentralized way, from decentralized application and services to yeah, organizations and hopefully even societies. And what's the problem in this space currently is that like new people who are just joining, they have no idea where to go. Like they ask people where to go, but there's not really any place where they will be able to get properly oriented about why this stuff matters, and like where could they, what sort of areas of interest are there, like NFTs, DeFi, DAOs, and whatnot. What projects they could join and take part in, how could they earn some money, and if they want to start a new project, well, like where do they find all the information about different frameworks and tools, where do they find people to that would like join their team and build with them, and where do they get funding. And yeah, overall there's just no good onboarding solution so far, like nothing to really help people get inside the crypto space. And yeah, it's no wonder that we lose many people along the way. And then we came up with the idea of MetaGame, which is a massive online coordination game. Because yeah, like games are kind of the best tool that we have so far at like really helping people understand the complex environments and actually having fun while doing it. And not just because they like really explain things in a great way, but like from the like neuropsychology behind it, that like once when we're having fun, that's when we absorb most information. And yeah, like has all your favorite MMORPG elements, from like players and guilds, maps and guides, roles and skills, quests and challenges, titles and achievements, and even products and services. And then like why do people even like games? Like what is it about games? And there's a lot of research behind gamification, and one of the big people in the field is this guy called Yukai Cho, who's like studied uh, yeah, behavioral psychology, behavioral economics, and all the related fields. And he came up with this thing called the Octalysis framework, which yeah, takes these eight different things that like get people hooked onto games. So the first one is epic meaning and calling, which is like there's always this grand narrative, like you are here to save the world, and yeah, everything depends on you. And then yeah, what you get in is that like you grind, like you get a sense of accomplishment. Like when you complete things, you get empowered to complete more things. You get good feedback. You get to build your character, like ownership with build your character, collect items and whatnot. And then community relatedness. This is a huge part of why people play MMORPGs, is because like to hang out with people and meet many people and whatnot. And then this even scarcity and impatience. So this like games are not super easy. Otherwise they wouldn't be fun. The unpredictability, like there's not really much fun you can have with things being predictable. And finally, the reason that keeps people from leaving game is like once they build up their character, and then like they don't want to leave it. And yeah, most good games have a combination of just a combination of these 8 different dimensions. And like there aren't really many games that really put together like all 8. And there's definitely like even the ones who put all 8, it's kind of bullshit. Like there's epic meaning in calling, but like it's not real. Like it's a virtual world, and building an accomplishment, like, yeah, you're accomplishing things, but it's all in a virtual reality. You're not really like building real world skills unless you're like going to competitive gaming. So that's the thing now. Anyway, and metagame. So yeah, the goal of metagame is to build this resource hub for the people getting into crypto, and then onboard a bunch of players and guilds to establish this sort of decentralized factory where we can produce more of these decentralized applications organizations, and create this web of opportunity where people can just join, learn new things, join new projects, and start earning money. And yeah, this is the main participants that metagame splits into. You got the players and patrons, and players. Yeah, you understand that. And patrons are the people who are like, yeah, metagame is awesome, but I'm really busy with my own project, and then they buy our token instead. And you have players of all kinds of roles. And then the other main component are the guilds. So these can be different projects, so like existing decentralized applications or projects building in the Ethereum space, and like DAOs that are offering services. So like you can be projects like a raid guild, which are here to offer like building services, designing and whatnot. There are other DAOs that offer funding, other DAOs that offer like marketing services and whatnot. And the final one is alliances, which are just groups of guilds, and we'll get into more of that in a bit. And the players and the patrons are we have this meme of the 300 of metagame, and we limited the number of players to Dunbar's number because we didn't want to be super optimistic about being able to scale above that limit right away, and also because we want to create this really tight knit and trusted community, and not just like getting thousands of people from all over the place right away. Because we need to set the proper culture and whatnot. And then different guilds. So on top you can see the projects like DAO House. DAO House is a project for launching your own decentralized organizations. We have Mooney, which is used to cashing out crypto directly to your bank account, but in like Uniswap like interface, or like decentralized and super easy, no KYC. Common Stack, building different infrastructure for the commons. Meta Factory is a decentralized brand factory, so you can launch your own like merchandise store. There's Source Trade, which is like the like one of 3 main components of MetaGame, so used for tracking like contributions to the project. And then we got the projects like the guilds, like the Raid Guild, the FireEye, token engineering. So Raid Guild, as I said, offering all kinds of services to different projects in the Web3 space. We got token engineering FireEye, which are more about like token engineering. Build guilds similar to Raid Guild, deep work, helping people design products. Design is pretty self-explanatory. One Hive, just another decentralized factory. They're building all kinds of cool things in the Ethereum space. And then we got, for example, the Meta Cartel, which is one of the first three alliances, which is a funding DAO that also has like 30 other member organizations. We got the Bloom Network, which is somewhat similar to with the goals, like the bigger picture goals as MetaGame, but it's more on the ground. So it's like trying to change the world, but going directly through like grassroots organizations and like direct aid. Penvala helping projects get funded in crypto space, and Meta Gamma Delta is another funding DAO but focus on women-led projects and generally getting more women into the Ethereum space. And what are we doing at MetaGame? So these are the main projects, I guess. With MetaSys, so that's like the first thing that we built at MetaGame. We put together this system for running decentralized organizations. I'll get into more of that in a bit, but yeah, MetaSys, my Meta library, and the Meta OS. Yeah, let's get into those. So MetaSys, we came up with this system trying to change the way that DAOs currently work. Like right now, DAOs are still pretty much command and control. So like what matters in a DAO is how much money you have. Then the DAO, like based on these votes, they issue commands to the builders inside the DAO, and yeah, money controls it, and people are told basically what they should be doing. The things move slow because all needs to go through the voting, and there's these fixed reward allocations, often a lot of money going to liquidity providers and not the people who are actually building the project. And on the right side we have our model, which is called, we call these the MetaSys DAOs, which are decentralized and permissionless, because once you get inside there's like you can just do things. You will like find a way that you can contribute, you do it, and then you get rewarded without needing to pass a proposal. Like if the people like it, you will get funded, and resources just flow dynamically through the network. It's so as the basis of that, we use the source thread, which hooks onto GitHub, Discord, and Discourse, and tracks basically everything that's happening, like interactions between the people. And like on GitHub, it tracks the pull request reviews and whatnot. And then on Discord, it's the emojis bring in a lot of this what we call the XP, experience points. And basically the source code tracks everything that's going on, that creates value. Then whatever the system misses itself, that we then talk about it and then manually edit to the source code. Then we mint tokens based on those contributions once per month, and then some of those tokens are added to our liquidity pool. So we use an balancer, which is an automated market making system. And we add some seed tokens, which is our token, and Ether, and that allows people to, the people who are working for MetaGame can cash out some of their seeds and pay their rent and food and whatnot. So the second project is these My Meta profiles, which are supposed to be these like decentralized sort of LinkedIn pages or workfolio pages, where you can post who you are, what kind of skills do you have, post your contact point, like what different DAOs are you a member of, show your NFTs, and post different achievements and past work, and have a way where people can see what's your availability, what time zone, and so that people can just ask you to work with them on something directly. This collab button, for example, is supposed to start a connection between the people, so that like a contract, you bring a contract where you choose like, okay, I want to do this with this person, and then like, okay, he will design something for me, and then you set in like how much you want to pay, how much you want to pay him, they accept, and you do it. And the idea is that you start this contract, and the money is passed on to the escrow, and then upon completion you can either both agree to like, okay, this was done fairly, this is a good task, and then the escrow gets released, or otherwise the people will disagree, and then it will go to arbitration in one of the decentralized courts, like either inside MetaGame or like one house court called Celeste or like Kleros or whatever. There will be more solutions in the future. And the trust button is supposed to be like similar to add as friend, except with skin in the game, because you're also like, if both of you have a personal token, then you should be able to exchange these personal tokens. But this is probably both more far out than this the custom background, for example, because the whole page is supposed to be like super customizable, so that other organizations and whoever wants to use it can use it for their own members directory, and people can like just customize it all they want. And then this is what we're calling the Meta OS. And this is like just the first design, which is supposed to be this open source like virtual operating system for decentralized societies. So you should be able to use this to run communities, or like bigger than that, like just whole societies, hopefully. But we will see how that goes. And you can see the dashboard with all the XP that you're earning, the Cs that you're earning, the morale in the game, like, because once you log in, the game asks you like, how are you doing, and things like that, which is supposed to set this like, how are people feeling. And then we have things like the carbon footprint of settings, so that we can see that is MetaGame contributing to the environment.
I hate to cut you off over a little bit of time.
Ooh,
to swap to the panel.
I will just speed up through this. So you get the journal and the goals, and then let's just move on. The seed, like, okay, people get paid for seeds, but why do patrons want to buy the seeds? Well, these are the reasons. I will not go through them. Oh, this is like, this is how much do I have? Should I just not do this last part, or should I go on for?
We will definitely have time for you to speak more about the game if you want, for any gaps. So if you stick around, we'd love to hear more about it later.
Okay. Then I'll just stop this and we can continue.
Sorry for not speeding up your talk a little bit earlier.
It's like the problem of the world as a whole, like the economic system, like everything is optimized for the profits, and like if you aren't like chasing profit to the maximum, you will not maximizing for the profit, then you will essentially get kicked out of the economic game. Like your company will lose over in the long run, because everything is so just focused on the metric of profit, because that's just the main metric. Like all that matters is money, and even like not just on the company level, but also on the country level. Like it's all based on GDP growth. Like GDP always has to be growing, otherwise it's not good. And then like, is GDP growing actually good? Like, is that something that we should always be striving for? And like infinite growth on a finite planet, like, is that really a great idea? And so what I think is happening is this sort of tragedy of the commons, where people are just exploiting like the nature and everything, turning everything into profit and not caring about the consequences. And it's kind of a downward spiral. And so the question is like, I don't know, this thing in between. So in search of the commons scale, because that's what I've been doing most of my free time, like before getting into like most of my research time before getting into crypto, like researching these sort of alternative economic systems and networks. And like you can see this in like eco villages. They have like higher moral standards. They are very much more human focused, and like care about the nature and like living in the balance and whatnot. But the problem is that they can't scale, and because the scale tends to centralize things, and then the more something is centralized, the more it's focused on its own self-interest, and the more it's prone to corruption by the people who rise up and then steer the system into their own personal gain. And that's because there's less and less transparency. You cannot really see what's going on in those levels, like higher up in the bureaucratic system and even higher. And the bigger things are, the more they're focused on like the numbers, because that's the main thing we use to steer steer the system. So like it's all about the numbers. And so the question is like, what is the solution? Do we need like a whole new socioeconomic operating system to warp the game theory incentives and to make a system that is decentralized and transparent so that it's less prone to corruption and like control from the top? Do we need like a whole new culture? Do we need new measures of success? And we kind of need all of those. Yeah, back into slide 1. So I hope that the solution is MetaGame, because that's the combination of all of those. And yeah, it's a massive online coordination game. So first we had like the MMORPGs, massively online role-playing games. Then we had the MOOCs, like massive online open courses. And now we have this, which is like something in between. And then going forward, so this is the phase 1, which I was talking about previously, in setting up this decentralized factory, where it's like make it into a hub that anybody who's interested in decentralized organizations and applications can join and learn and find their way like forward. So yeah, there will be like guides and portals to everything that you need, and like a community to help you, and yeah, to like get access to the project that you can just come in, work on projects without needing to apply. And like once you're inside, you can just work on whatever project you like. And yeah, sort of build this connective tissue and basic infrastructure for the like decentralized system, or like this the social layer. Then we're going on to the phase 2, which is about getting a meta game across the chasm, like getting like proving that we built something that's valuable and that can scale, and then attracting a lot more value inside the system, so we can recruit even more people, obtain more knowledge from areas outside of crypto. Because yeah, the idea is that like crypto is the first stage where we're setting up the socioeconomic infrastructure, like the basic stuff. And then as we move forward, we can like zoom out of crypto and broaden focus like first to like the other nascent technologies, like VR, machine learning, and yeah, whatever is up and coming. But also broaden the focus into solving the real world problems, like having initiatives that are like fighting hunger in that part of the world, or like planting trees in somewhere else. And yeah, and yeah, continue with this whole scheme that like it's a web of opportunity. So like people don't need to like move to another country so to access the opportunities. They just need to get in here, and yeah, they will get this whole network that will help them like find their way, how to find like acquire new skills, and find work to do and make a living doing useful things. And then phase 3 is called the web of life, and then it's like this whole decentralized socioeconomic network that is supporting thousands of people doing something that is meaningful to them, like leveling up and making a living. And there will be this network of like pockets of like physical outposts and like eco villages and things like that, like co-working, co-living spaces. And this does sound kind of far-fetched, but like we're a network, so it's not like the people who are here now are going to do that. Although like we actually already have a few people doing that, like one guy buying a farm and like attracting people. And like the first alliance that I talked about previously, the Bloom network, they already have like a bunch of these eco villages in their network. So yeah, it's a matter of connecting all these pieces together, not like doing everything ourselves. And yeah, by then like the whole goal, like we are much less focused on crypto and like really into solving real world problems, like focusing on, yeah, as I said, like getting like water and clean water and like electricity in the third world, like helping prevent global warming, and yeah, anything that's like not first world problem and crypto problem, but like actual problems.
And you can
Yeah.
find some of those on Giveth as well.
Yeah. Oh, right. Yeah, and Give It is just getting just about to get on board to MetaGame as well. Yeah, thank you. And yeah, paying people to like take part in all these ecological and philanthropic initiatives. And yeah, revolutionizing the world. So like previously, like the revolutions were violent and bloody and created these power vacuums, and you weren't really sure that like after the old power has been overthrown, like the power will just centralize again, and it won't take long before it's just as bad. And now the revolution will be peaceful, and there will like the revolution will be the new system that is already built. Like it's not taking down and then hoping something good happens, but like replacing it with something that already works. And this is the quote that I like to live by an open source community builder guru. And yeah, that's it from me. You can go to metagame.wtf to learn more about metagame.
Awesome. I think that's great. You explained it pretty much a lot more in detail than you act like you can in other circumstances. You're like, I don't know, figure it out. But all of a sudden you're like, this is exactly how it is.
We need a really good like an explainer video, and I thought about how I will like cut down like even less things from this this slideshow and just get somebody to like make an animation.
Yeah, definitely. And I think following up on what you were just saying about moving into the on-ground aspect and like the I don't know, the meat space DAO or the 3D DAO or however you want to think about it. Yeah, I think through the Bloom network and some other projects that you can find on giveth.io, which Bloom network is also on there. There's a movement to get that phase going even sooner, or it's already going, I guess, in a sense, right? So there's some projects on there that we could plug into, and Gitcoin Grant has a couple going on too, I believe. So
Right. Yeah, I think it's just a matter of like connecting all these pieces together, and like we can really make this whole alternative socioeconomic network where like there are these pockets of alternative self-sustainable economies where people can just go to and live without paying absurd rents like people are paying when they go to like these opportunity hubs like the Silicon Valley and places like that. Like so far people needed to go to places like that to access the opportunities, and right now they won't even have to do that anymore, so they will be able to move to places that are even cheaper.
yeah, it'd be great to have some co-working spaces that are designed more for Web3 too, you know, that have the things that we're looking to have around us, and you know, could accept crypto and different seeds for all the services that you would need at a different co-working space, and yeah, and have them spread out across the world so that you could bounce around and be the even newer kind of digital nomad, not the digital nomad that's just making content over the cliffside, taking a pretty picture of the hills, but
Right.
actually building the new. I mean, those things are good too. If that we need content creators, if you're one of those, please join us.
Right, it was just hard for like digital nomads to really coordinate like with many people. That's why I think most of them resorted to these like one-person ventures with like or a two-person like media production team and things like that, because there weren't really like ways to coordinate. And yeah, I wanted to also touch on like that we'll definitely be putting up some co-working spaces, and actually I will personally be probably opening one next year, like in an apartment that I have. It's going to be pretty small, but it's going to be the first MetaGames co-working space.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I think the quote that really fits that I've heard a lot is, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. And so obviously there's a space for both of those, and the digital nomad that wanted to be the pioneer and go out there and get the shots first and kind of be the person that sets the flags and the paths to go has kind of been established. And now it's time for us to go far, and we see that it's no longer one person. Now we need to get the community to make that journey.
Yeah, that's a great way to hear it.